happened, it was trippy because right before Jonathan came in the band, like we called him up and said, you got to come jam with us because we heard he's from Bakersfield and he was good, and he went and saw a psychic, and the psychic said that he should move to L.A. and join this band and it would be really famous. I mean, and he told us that, and that tripped me out, but I was like, when it came true, I was like tripping. But anyway, we got the record deal, and it wasn't a smooth ride, that dream coming true that she predicted or whatever. We got, you start off, you have this dream, you don't have God in your life, you want to tackle the world and conquer the world, and it happened pretty fast, we got on tours with Marilyn Manson and Danzig and Megadeth on our first record, and Ozzy, and that same guy that I worshipped was like coming in my dressing room, and I was tripping out because here's this guy on my wall coming in and just saying stuff in some language I don't even know what he's talking, but it was my hero, and it was surreal, but I just kept climbing up that ladder of success, and we were drinking a lot and partying and just doing music, and I had a conscience, because my parents are still together, and they weren't bad people, they drank a little. My dad had problems drinking, but, I started getting into things that I knew it wasn't right, that wasn't me, like drugs and taking cocaine once in a while, and just living the rock star life. Everybody did it, and I was like, well, if I keep it in moderation, it'll be cool. But then, 6-pack turned into a 12-pack, and then we were drinking like 30 beers a night, and then cocaine crept in, and we always tried to climb up that ladder, and it's like we were all freaking out a little bit because when MTV picked us up, it was like everybody was tripping out, there was fights in the band, and like Jonathan was like going crazy, he was getting suicidal, when we were going up, it's a lot of like pressure and insecurities jump out, but it was fun at the same time, and it was just surreal. I just remember, like, you get in a band, and then like 4 years later, you're playing like arenas, we're playing the same size places as Ozzy, and you go to wherever you go, and all these people are coming. I mean, like, there's even doctors and politicians sometimes come and want, hey, this mayor guy wants to meet you, and it's like, we're just these knuckleheads that play heavy metal, and we go to Hollywood, and like Brad Pitt shows up at our show one day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I shook his hand. Our wives were there because that was our hometown. Now I gotta tell you a little story. But when he got there, the wives, oh my gosh, that's Brad Pitt. And we were like, yeah, so? And they're like, oh, he's short in person, don't we? And so it was just funny. He is kind of short, but Brad Pitt, he can be short, looks tall on camera. Anyway. Yeah, we kept climbing that thing, and we played Woodstock '99, and I was married and had a kid at that time, and I just thought that was the high point of my career. But the drugs crept in and just was shaking my life apart, and everybody else. And it was the best show of our life, man. But afterwards, we went and everybody partied, and you got this glamorous lifestyle that everybody thinks you have when you've made it, but you're up there just doing drugs, and when you have a few drinks, and people do it in moderation, that's one thing. But when you're like pounding like all this hard alcohol, just getting sick, and at first you're laughing, then all of a sudden you break out the cocaine, and your smile goes away, and then everybody's like cluck, 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 cluck. It's like talking about stupid stuff all night, hidden in like one part of the room, you get all sweaty and gross. It's just dark, man. And I don't understand why people do it every night. I don't understand why I did it every night. But it kept going up. And after that Woodstock show, me and my wife, we got home, we flew back in this private jet. Like, it was just like Ice Cube was on it, and Limp Bizkit and all that. And it was just, the whole weekend was surreal to me. But we decided to party more, and we got home, me and my wife got into it, and she was violent, she was brought up in an abusive family, so whenever we get in an argument, she started getting that into our marriage. So I remember I just hit her that night, and she fell on the floor because she was so drunk, and she just passed out, and there's just blood coming from her nose and on her neck, and she passed out. And I just remember just sitting there just like, you know, shaking, just going, you know, what is going on with my life? I was crying. And, you know, I couldn't even talk to her because she was out. And it was just a nightmare, man. And there was other times where, you know, she came at me, and I hid in the bathroom one day, and she stuck her foot through the door and stuck her head in like The Shining. It was nuts. She was crazy. But I think that was a day where I threw this phone at her, and when she tried to leave or something, I threw the phone, just not meaning to hit her, but it cracked her. And, you know, again, I saw my own wife's blood coming down her back of her neck, and the neighbors called the cops, and it was just bad, man. I was just turning into a monster that I didn't think I would ever be. You know, I didn't think I'd ever hit a woman. You know, I don't care if she's jumping on me and hitting me, but I was like, I don't know. Long story short, she ended up leaving. She got hooked up with this skinhead guy, this, you know, just white supremacist dude, and he was a 3-strike felon, and he was hanging around her and my baby when I was on tour, and this guy started trying to hawk my stuff. You know, I had like gold korn necklaces I got from record companies just because we were making them so much money. They're like, here, have a gold necklace. But this guy tried to pawn it, got like $50 or whatever. And it was just like, my friend owned a pawn shop. He's like, dude, I just got your necklace right now, man. And so it was just a nightmare. You know, I wanted to kill this guy. I wanted to kill her. They were on crystal meth, like, bad, you know. She was just like, her heart left for her daughter, and she bailed out. And I don't know, man. I just wanted to kill both of them. I wanted to hire somebody. I had the money to do it, but I didn't go that far, luckily. And you know, I had a heart, but so I swore I would never do crystal meth again. I was like, man, look what it did to my wife. Look what it did to my family. How could it do? I thought she was a scumbag, but a little bit later I got hooked on crystal meth. I got drunk one night, and it turned into an everyday habit. And I took the stuff all around the world, because at that time, I already reached the top. I had my dream, and I made it. I was #1. You can't get higher than #1. I never dreamt about being #1. I dreamt about being a musician, you know, and just doing what I loved. But once I got everything, and it was like I conquered the world. I climbed up that mountain. And something was missing. It was like, what now? You know? And it was all about me.